Look, Moshe's not here. Oh, you bet.
Where's the light on here? Too late.
Should I lift you?
What if Grandma thinks this?
Should I open both doors?
Good.
Yeah, it's pretty smooth sailing all the way in. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, everyone. Hi. Oh, good to see you all.
Okay, so we're just waiting for Eliyahu. Really?
Wonderful to see you all.
Grandma, you look beautiful.
I forgot to tell you how cute he looked with this tie and that last.
Moshe, do we have enough?
Yeah,
I don't know, you told me.
waiting for him at the main entrance. Come on, Mom, come this way.
Add a little,
Come on.
Kelly. Where do you want
We're
me?
going. We're gonna go this way. Can you? Joseph, can you call Ellie and tell him to come visit? Oh,
He parked. You should still stay up there, but I'm right here.
huh?
Everybody.
You see Eliyahu? Anyway, I wanted first to stop here. They redid the plaques at the school,
Oh,
and they redid Grandpa's plaque. Can you see that with your glasses?
yeah.
Yeah. So it's a brand new. They changed the style of the plaques. So I wanted you to see the one that we did for him, and you like the new style that they did?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's very nice.
This is the old one. We can look at the old one so you can compare it. The old one was like wood engraved.
Let me see.
Where's Eliyahu?
They put it on eye level.
Huh?
This one is really high.
Okay, all right.
It's up here.
This one's.
Where we
So here, this is the old one.
Oh, I can't really see it.
It
says the same
It says the same thing, but it's just a different style. It's in wood. So where's Eliyahu? Can somebody call him?
I called him.
He's not picking up.
If we wait for him, he'll be upstairs.
His car.
Just trying to get.
What is it, honey? You're trying to get in.
Anyway, so this is the old one. Anyway, so come. Okay. Huh? Anyway, come. Everybody gather around over here. Yeah.
Where's it come to? Around Mrs. Brass?
Here, Tony.
Let's send you over.
Back up.
Anyway, so,
Put my hand in it so she could sit.
Sit down. Yeah, if you're tired, sit down, it's safer.
Very good.
okay, so come in a little closer here. Anyway, when we dedicated that room in Grandpa's memory, right? One of the things you told me that really stuck out in my mind is, you know what? The only shame about this event is that Grandpa's not here. How much he would have enjoyed it. So, so I made a decision that I wanted to. Our family wanted to do this in your honor.
Lovely.
So you could be here to enjoy it.
That's really great. Feed it to me.
Pastor, why don't you read it?
Go ahead.
Dedicated in honor of Blanche Brass, an accomplished woman who immersed herself in the world of ideas, plots, and characters. Her love for literature and the arts, driven by her lifelong pursuit to more fully develop her intellect. Her grace and smile are an inspiration to us, her loving children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and all who know her.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Oh, thank you. That's really nice. I can't think of a nicer dedication. It's just lovely. Oh, that's really lovely. It's beautiful. And Esther. Thank you, my dear. Thank you all for the effort and the trouble that you put in to do all this. I really appreciate it. I know it takes a lot. It takes, what, a village to pull off something like this. And I'm really, really delighted.
So do you want to go in and see the library?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a library?
It's a library.
Oh, wonderful.
So the idea was Grandpa has the science room, and right down the hall you have the library.
Library, huh?
Get the reaction to the face.
Ah,
Hello, Blanche.
my goodness. You mean you came out 2 days in a row?
Yeah. 2 days in a row.
That's wonderful. I'm just wordless, which you know is very unusual. Thank you so much, everybody. Nobody hinted about
Not a word.
Looks like the
Okay, so anyway, we have why doesn't everybody sit down, make themselves comfortable? We have a few presentations, and then we'll eat. Okay?
Okay.
Mazel tov on the dedication of this lovely library.
Brownies? No, we first did it.
That's dessert.
After we eat some food. After we eat some food. Want some grapes?
I did say hi to the camera.
Okay, please everybody have a seat. Make yourselves comfortable. I would like to formally introduce the dean of the yeshiva. For those of you who don't know what a yeshiva is, a yeshiva is a school that teaches the highest value to the Jewish people, which is the Torah, the Bible, the oral law, and the written law. But in addition to that, the boys have a full spectrum of secular education that complies with Florida state requirements to graduate a secular high school. So our boys have gone to school here and go to school from 7:30 is when davening or prayer starts, and it can go as late as 8 o'clock? 8 o'clock? 8 o'clock at night. So not only do they put in a full day of Jewish studies, but they also put in a full day of secular studies. My thought is that my mother and father, my father, may he rest in peace, they met in high school. And I imagine that they probably were met in hallways not so different than the hallways of this high school, except that this high school is just for boys. So here, many years ago when my father was left the world, we dedicated the science room up the hall, and my mother mentioned to me then, because the only shame about the event is that your father's not here to enjoy it. So I took note of that, and I wanted to be able to do this so my mother could be here to enjoy it. And so here they are in the same hallway together, just like when they were in high school together. My father by the science room and my mother by the library, which I think is kind of appropriate. So I'd like to introduce Rabbi Nyman, who will talk about the value of the school, of the dedication, and Rabbi Nyman.
I'm trying to figure out what to talk about, Shmuel.
Okay.
Just relax, Blanche.
We're going to do it again.
Breathe. Teach your grandmother to breathe.
Good afternoon. I hope you're all okay. It's a pleasure to be here to speak to you. The truth is, I usually don't speak to a crowd such as this, such an illustrious crowd. I speak to my 18-year-old students, 14-year-old students, even 21-year-old. I usually speak to them about learning the Bible, about learning Talmud, Jewish law. That's a whole different speech.
Yeah, but we're 21, a couple of years of difference.
I agree with you, but a couple of years makes a little difference, though. 2-3 years, but 2-3 years.
Yeah.
I'm happy to have you join us. Thank you. But the truth is, I was thinking about it last night. What brings us all together, I think, here is a love of learning, a love of literacy, a love of education, a love of intellectual thought, thinking, using your head to analyze things, poetry, novels, whatever it might be, right? If I'm wrong, tell me, but I think that's what we're here for, right? So, let me tell you a little story, a little commentary, okay? We all know the story of Cain and Abel. You heard of Cain and Abel in the Bible, right? One of the first human beings we believe, Cain and Abel. And the Bible talks about and relates how they had different occupations. Anybody know what they were? Abel was anybody know?
One was a farmer and one was
Abel, right? Cain was the farmer.
And the other one took care of the animals, I believe.
He was a shepherd. That's correct. And the Bible goes out of its way to mention that. And the commentaries wonder why they talk about that. Who cares if he was a computer scientist or a farmer or agricultural man or or plumber? What difference does it make? So the commentaries respond to that question by saying, because the Bible wanted to emphasize that Abel, who was the shepherd, Abel, right? Cain was the farmer, Abel was the shepherd. He had I guess you might call it a superior, more coveted job. Who cares? What difference does it make, right? Shepherd, farmer, they're all nice things, right? As long as you don't steal and you're honest in business, you're fine. There's something more our rabbis teach us. They taught us that when someone is a shepherd, I don't know the business too well, so I can't comment from personal first-hand experience, but a shepherd requires a greater intellectual capacity. He has to figure things out, I guess where they have to graze or what day of the week. I'm not sure why, but we're taught that it requires a greater level of intellectual capacity and pursuit of knowledge, greater knowledge and a greater fund of knowledge. To be able to be a good shepherd, to be a good agricultural farmer requires less. I don't know why, I can't tell you why, but that's what they tell me, okay? That's what the experts tell me. And therefore the Bible is praising Abel because he had a job which required greater mental aptitude, greater insight, greater thought process. And that, we believe, is so crucial. When you sit down and you take a piece of poetry, you sit down and take a novel and you analyze it, and what did the writer mean over here? What was he trying to reflect? What idea was there? To use your head. That's the key. Right? How are we different than animals, you might say? Why are we different? We're different. We were given brains. We're supposed to use our intellectual capacity in a way which reflects the appreciation we have that God made us intellectual people. And that's what you people do. That's what Mrs. Brass, who should be well for many years, is here and part of this group, because she is a person who appreciates and spends her time not just at the bowling alleys or at the bars or at wherever they might be, right? Spends her time with her friends doing constructive things, utilizing your intellect. And that we feel is so crucial, because that's what makes me a human, as opposed to, if you're a big evolutionist, right, you believe that humans are just one more step in the evolutionary process. We don't believe that. We believe that we were created as human beings. They're meant to be animals. They're supposed to serve us in various ways and functions, right? We were given the intellectual capacity and brains to utilize, and that's what separates us from the rest of the animal kingdom. So Blanche, they tell me that you're a special lady. I've met you many times in the past. At Simchas we met, at graduations. We met over the years, since I know Shmuel for about 20 years now?
More than that.
More than 20 years, about 20, maybe 25 years. And I've got to know you and your family, your wonderful children and grandchildren for many years, and you are people who stand for that pursuit of intellectual honesty, to know what is right and what is wrong, to understand why this, why not that. That's what we get from our Bible. That's what the Bible tells you. In fact, I have a copy over here of the beautiful plaque which we made in your honor. And I'll just read it to everybody here. Okay, Shmuel, can I do that, right?
Go ahead.
Because I think it's very meaningful. Dedicated in honor of Blanche Brass, an accomplished woman who immersed herself in the world of ideas. Number one, ideas. Storylines, plots, and characters. Also, right? The books, to understand what it means. Her love for literature and the arts, driven by her, listen to this, and it's so perfect, so beautiful, driven by her lifelong pursuit to more fully develop her intellect. That's what's true about all of you. Actually, my job is to talk about Blanche now, right? So if you don't mind, right? But all of you are here because your lifelong pursuit to more fully develop your intellect. Her grace and smile, I repeat, are an inspiration to all of us. Her loving children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and all who know and love her. So that plaque is dedicated to honor.
Rabbi,
And we thank you for inspiring us. Yes, I'm sorry.
you're describing a nation's child.
You're right, you're 100% right. I'm not sure if everyone knew the word Ashes Chayil, I couldn't say it, but you're 100%. She is a woman of valor. Someone who uses her talents, her God-given talents, in the proper way, the proper modality, to help her husband of blessed memory, to bring up beautiful children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren. So my blessing to you is, Mrs. Brass, you should be Zoch, you should merit to see nachas from your family, your beautiful family, for many years to come in good health. And with all your friends who are together, keep on pursuing that pursuit of knowledge, intellectual analysis, and that's what makes us human beings.
Thank you.
Mazel tov.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you all, and thank you all for being here. I'm just overwhelmed that you would give me a Sunday of your life, which I'm sure is important, and you would spend another way to spend a day with me like this. I'm just overwhelmed. Thank you
Tell
all
us how
so
you
much.
and Phil met in the
What?
hallway. Tell us how you and Phil, your husband, met.
Well, he was a new boy at school,
A new boy at school.
and he was assigned to my homeroom. Yeah.
Okay.
And he was very, very handsome.
Okay,
So all the girls were around him already, and I didn't think I had a chance.
So you were interested in boys, though?
And what happened was I took a typing course, and he sat next to me, and we typed to each other. And the thing was, the teacher said, if you made more than 10 errors, don't turn in your paper. So we would make the 10 errors inside of 10 seconds. And we would just continue typing with each other. And then we were that typical couple holding hands in the hallway. You remember all that from high school.
No, I never did it.
Well, I got a very good grade in typing, but I must say it was through corruption. The typing teacher asked me if I would write some letters to his boy overseas, just to be nice. And I agreed. So I got the good grade and Phil didn't. And that's the story.
Wow.
Often when I see these high school stories on TV, I really identify, because that's what it was.
Oh, that's nice.
Anyway, I asked Barry, who, by the way, was my point person to coordinate all of this.
He does all that so
Yeah,
well.
he had come down and he met the rabbi with me, and we went over the plan many months ago, and he even edited the plaque with me, and called up everybody and coordinated. And I asked Barry to share a few words and insights.
I don't want to be the only one if anybody else is.
Yeah, everybody who has something to say, there'll be an opportunity for you to.
But expanding on what Rabbi Nyman said, we all have this a little bit, but Blanche even more. She has a need, I think, to fully understand the human condition, and to not just understand it, but to tease it apart and see its vagaries and see how many ways it's put together in different societies, different levels, different cultures. And the only way you can do that is through literature, through novels, through poetry. And so she pursues this almost compulsively, I would say. And she has a way of firstly, a memory that is beyond belief. I mean, I think she remembers every book she ever read, and every plot and every author. And so she draws on this wealth of literature that's in her head, and puts it, and that's why it's so great to have her in the group, because she'll pull in something from some other source or reference relevant to what we're talking about. So it opens up this, it's an algorithm, if you will, that brings in all the literature she ever read, which is a lot. And for us, it opens up the books, and that, of course, that's what the synergy of this group is, that we all do that, and many times we'll have read a book and totally missed a point of view, a principle, a reference, something that makes the book even more meaningful. So it's that synergy that really works in with Blanche. Like I said before, it's the desire to see the world and people and life in as many ways as possible. And it's another, I was thinking about, that's the secular side, if you will. But from a Jewish point of view, that's, we say there's Torah, Avodah, and Gemlut Chasadim. These are things that make the world go round. And in many ways she reflects that. In terms of Torah, the Talmud teaches, greet all people openly. Be the first to extend your hand. And she's so gracious. I mean, to all the people in the group, to anybody I've ever seen her interact with, to people who help her in the home. She's open like that. She's open and friendly. Avodah, she learned to be an attorney at a late age. And she used those skills to reach out into the community and to help have-nots. She helped people who really were not at the highest social echelon. She made her effort. I mean, she'll tell you some of the stories of people that she took the time to reach out to. And Gimlut Chasadim, the completion of acts of loving kindness. Not just thinking about them, but completing them. Gimlut Chasadim, the completion, if you will. And that's even more important, following through on things that are important. So as a Jewish woman and as a secular woman, as an intellectual, she got it all. She got it all. And,
Thank you, Barry. Those were very sweet things to say. The things that you said about reading and being with the group could be said about almost every person here who has been in the book group. I think we all share that, and I'm especially pleased, of course, to share it again with all of you. Thank you.
I'd like to say something too.
Go ahead, sure.
I feel honored also because I met Blanche's whole family because of Blanche and her love for music also, so she wanted her grandchildren to learn the piano. So I used to give piano lessons to Rivka and Moshe. Somebody just here told me Moshe's 21 years old now. I couldn't believe it. But I got to know Robbie and Esther because I came to the house every week. And it was a delight to see the children, and they're all absolutely beautiful. I'm looking for, isn't that Rivka?
No.
Where's Rivka?
This is Sarah.
That's Sarah? Very good.
So this is Sarah.
You're still playing, right? Right?
Playing with the kids.
Almost all the kids I gave lessons to don't play anymore. But it was just wonderful for me to get to meet the whole family that way. And I got to speak to Esther every week when I came there. And I'm going to go over and look at those great grandchildren. Really, that to me is so beautiful when you can see your influence and your. And do you remember all their names? Not easy. Not easy. Aaron, I remember because I went to his bar mitzvah. Right?
And Aaron still plays music.
I never took lessons.
Huh?
Moshe plays music still.
He
Moshe.
never took classes, but he still plays.
Oh, really? Wonderful, wonderful. I don't play anymore because arthritis visits all of us.
Thank you, Rose.
Yeah.
Thank you, Esther.
Okay. All right, so I think we're going to take a break. We're going to eat. And while we're eating, there's going to be a few more people. Some of my kids are going to speak. And anybody else who would like to share some thoughts or words are certainly welcome. So I'd invite everybody to come and have from the buffet. I can guarantee you it's kosher, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay?
So all this plotting and planning behind my back that I can't do.
I'll join you.
Conspiracy. Even yesterday. Suspicious grouping.
Like we had to confirm the directions yesterday outside the house.
Right.
I did.
And I almost did not get. I'm so glad to see you here.
They're hard to get to and they're not deserved. So, yeah.
Okay.
There was somebody sitting here. Somebody was sitting here.
Okay, you know, this is something that people like. This goes with them. Don't forget this thing.
What is that?
It's like these fried things and like
Because you know, wherever she goes, it's wherever they go.
How are you doing? Good, are you playing? Do you remember that your mother wanted to learn how? She put the letters in the, oh, I remember you put the letters in the one. It's like Barry said. Blanche is a reader.
Did it speak?
idea, the whole thing. That's fun because of an appreciation of what you're doing, what you've done. School should be doing for many years. Well, you're really healthy.
You want to grab something for the road, or?
Again, I appreciate your coming.
My pleasure. Enjoy.
Mom, who is the other? You said there's one original member of the group that's still.
Doris. That's Doris.
You're Doris. Oh yeah. So you're the only other original member of the group.
How many years is that? How many years?
It started in 1970.
Really?
I started it with a friend.
43 years ago.
43 years ago. It's not all a lot of different people. Doris and I are the only two originals left.
Special.
But all these people from the time I was a little kid, I know them from
Come around.
the groups would come around every few months. And
Where's the meeting held? In different homes?
different homes.
Like you rotate houses?
Yeah, is that how it goes, Mom? You rotate houses, yeah.
Very nice.
And then every year we have a retreat where we bring selections to the table.
Really?
And we vote from a roster of about 30 books. We vote for the ones that we would prefer to read for the year.
Really?
And we go on from there. The rabbi is astonished that we're still in business.
42 years is nothing to laugh at. It's very impressive.
It's very impressive.
I think it works well that way because of the structure that you all agree on the books that are to be read and you pick a year at a
This is a
time.
very unique idea, or is it common done in the world? Is a lot of groups like this or not?
Other clubs, a lot of them, each member picks a book.
Their own thing.
Would you like some
We
soda?
have very good standards.
Right.
And I'd like to take this. I'd like to take this moment to really thank my wife, who pulled all the details of this event together, and she worked very hard. And
Thank you again.
so I'd like to call up Yisrael Meir
The newest.
to speak to his grandmother.
Hello, pay attention. Blanche.
Anybody taking stills?
Oh, welcome, Israel.
As a student in the 10th grade of this worthy As a student in the 10th grade of this worthy establishment, Yeshiva Torahs Chaim, it's a privilege for me to walk through these halls on a daily basis and see the new plaque in my grandmother's honor at the library, as well as the plaque in my grandfather's memory in the cemetery. I have an incredible grandmother, Blanche Brass, who serves as an exemplary model of commitment to learning and growth of knowledge. My grandmother's entire life to this day has been lived on a mission of lifelong learning. Her decades-long membership to the Dante group, as well as the poetry group, speak for themselves. She and all those who partake in these groups are true examples of what it means to take learning to the next level. I know that the analysis of the books and poems these groups read are of such superior caliber that I look on with awe and wonder. Never is my grandmother complacent with her current knowledge. She always has a desire to learn more, even beyond the book group. She attended law school in her 50s, and at that time was the oldest female to graduate from University of Miami School of Law. Once retired, she continued to attend university classes in a vast range of topics to enrich her already broad knowledge. How many people have a grandmother who knows how to use a Facebook account? She is proficient in the use of a Kindle and iPad, forms of media that many people of all ages have not mastered. As one goes through day-to-day life, things could become monotonous and rote. But not for me. These plaques serve as constant reminders and inspiration for me. My grandmother's thirst for knowledge is contagious, and I cannot simply walk through these halls without being affected by the sight of her name. She is a constant source of encouragement for me in my education, whether it's clipping articles about something I'm currently learning or discussing the latest book I'm reading. She always has something interesting and insightful to add. I cannot and will not be complacent with my education, just like my grandmother had never been complacent with hers. I'd like to take this opportunity to say thank you, Grandma, for the incredible example you have been and continue to be for my siblings and I. You always give us what to strive higher toward. Thank you very much.
Great.
Is there anybody else from the book group that would like to speak at this time?
Well, I'll just say a few words. I don't know that I certainly haven't thought about talking. But Blanche and I have been together in the book group for, I don't know, more than 30 years. I hate to say how long it is because it just shows we're getting older, that's all. But we've had a very good run because it really is interesting. We have analyzed books together, but it's more than that. We kind of become friends and share feelings and knowledge together, and I think that's a very important thing that you can do. And you really can't do that with most people, that's the first thing. So I also, all the other people in the group too, it's a pleasure to be with you, and Maxine, to be with you too. Come. Yeah, you're great. I have a little friend here, Honey Robin. I'm sure all of you have met her by now. And I just want to make sure that you knew that she's one of my oldest friends here too. Oldest is oldest. So tell us about where you met Blanche.
Actually, I met Blanche at Bethon, and she was starting a book club. Do you remember?
It's in existence.
And it was always very, very interesting. Besides the books and the stories that she told, it was always a step above and analysis of what was going on. But Blanche and I share another level on the professional side, and as an attorney, we would meet at lunch, she getting out of her office and me wanting to go out. And I have to tell you, she has one characteristic about her. She is very flexible. And if she wants to do something and you suggest it, it's a go. And we're also travel buddies. And we've gotten into lots of mischief over the years. And been to some very interesting places and done interesting things. And we survived. Even getting stuck up on top of a mountain one time.
Where was that?
We both had to sit on.
Our next speaker is my son Yosef, and he looks really comfortable where he's sitting there. And the reason why he's so comfortable is because he's been sitting there every day for the last 2 years.
Oh my.
Right, this is Yosef takes
Years, baby.
Some of his courses online at the school here, courses they don't offer at the school, and that's his spot where he does his schoolwork, and he kind of likes it because it's kind of out of the way and he can hide and nobody really sees him. But Yosef is going to, among other things, it's Yosef's birthday today.
Stand up. Come on. Stand up.
And he has some words he'd like to share to his grandmother as well.
So, as I'm in the 11th grade, I've used the library a lot, and I love the library. And I can assure you that every single day when I walk into the library, I'm going to see that plaque. And it's really going to encourage me and everything. And I just wanted to say that, like, it's never boring visiting you. So you always have really, really interesting things to talk about, and it's always fun. And I wanted to say that, like, although you never heard of this Jewish term called lashon hara. It's like it's like the laws of Jewish speech and talking nicely about other people. You keep that very well because you always have something nice to say about people. Not once did I ever hear, Grandma, and not once did I ever hear you say anything not nice about anybody. And you are so accepting and totally not judgmental of anyone. We all learn so much from you, and we are all proud to have you as our grandmother.
Thank you. Lovely. Thank you. One more kiss. And happy birthday. 17.
Okay, we do have a rabbi in the family, and this is Rabbi Sokol, my daughter's husband, and he's going to share a few words as well.
Thank you to everyone for joining us and coming in from far and wide. And it's really it takes a lot of effort for everyone to schlep out here in North Miami Beach. We know what it's like. But before we continue, first I want to say a special thanks to Robert for putting this all together. And this really took a lot of foresight. As you can imagine, this has been months and months in the making, and it really turned out to be very, very special. I just want to share a quick thought.
Going on for a month behind my back?
At least.
More
than just that.
All you people.
Look at that. Look how many people came. All of these people that are here in this room right now are here only for Grandma or Blanche. And also to Ima for putting this all together. You can imagine how much work it is. Anyways, I want to share a insight from a verse in Koheles, otherwise known as Ecclesiastes. So when you study Ecclesiastes, when you get to the last chapter, anybody know how many chapters there are? That's right, 12. Right? There are 12 chapters. So if you get to the 11th chapter, the very first verse, it says, I'm going to say it in Hebrew and then I'm going to translate it to English. Shlach lachmecha al pnei hamayim, ki beroiv yomim timtzaenu. Cast your bread upon the waters, because in many days it will return to you, and you will find it. I hope this sounds familiar to some of you, as it's a verse in the Bible. Now, the commentators explain that what this is referring to is that sometimes you do a kindness, and we never expect to be paid back, but it ultimately happens that there is no good deed that goes unpunished. No, that's a joke. But there's no good deed that goes unrewarded. There is such a joke, but we believe that there is no good deed that goes without being rewarded. So I was thinking that it is very appropriate that today's dedication of this wonderful library, which I'm sure that many of you have noticed, that I'm sure back in the good old days, you came into a library, you'd probably see a lot more of this side of the room than this side of the room. I'm sure you noticed. These tables over here are covered. We have computers. These are computers that are on top over here. I'm sure you all know what those are. But this is the new generation. And we're going from this side of the room where it's books, and pretty soon these are going to be a thing of the past. And no one's going to know what they are anymore. Besides, in our family, because we have learned from Grandma how important it is to use our intellect and our minds and the pursuit of knowledge. And this, I believe, is a gift that is going to serve for many generations to come. And so my blessing is that you should have many years of Yiddish Nachas, and we should see only more accomplishments, and you should see that your future generations, I'm sure many of you are aware in this room, we are experiencing 4 generations, right? You have grandma, you have her son, my father-in-law, you have our generation, and then you have the next generation. So it's great-grandchildren. It's really a wonderful thing to see such a continuity here. And it's, Baruch Hashem, a beautiful sight, and it should only continue, and Mazel Tov. Thank you.
And he was quoting my mother-in-law. You probably don't even know about that. He says, doesn't she say, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say? And that's how I heard it. And it's so true. If you have not something nice to say, just don't say. And what happens is that you end up saying just nice things. And you always talk positively and favorably of everything and anything, because it's not nice. You just don't say. So I want to say, among a lot of other things, this is the one thing I attribute to my mother-in-law that I striving to get to, working on it. But it's definitely from you that I learned that, and I have that echo in my mind all the time. So thank you.
Yeah, could you put the lids on all the Cerno to put them out?
What happens?
Who is Ronnie?
Joseph.
What about you?
Should I ask him drum roll, please? Okay. Here we go, guys. Da 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 da.
Side. Blanche, you want to stand close to the plaque?
Why doesn't everybody gather around? We'll do a group picture, okay?